April 1st, 2011. Dawn in Denver, Colorado. Bright, spring-like. And for the friends of 19-year-old Kenya Monhey, terrifying.
I just kept calling her and calling her. We were all worried and scared.
Where was she? Kenya was supposed to have met her friends at a downtown bar the night before. Didn't show. And now, she didn't answer her phone. Not like Kenya. Not at all.
We didn't know what happened. Nobody knew nothing.
Kenya's friends, truly frightened now, kept texting and calling. But not a single lead turned up. No tips, no clues, and no Kenya.
We were just trying to be strong because we didn't want to think negative or anything. We had a lot of thoughts. I don't know, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done what?
Going out to, we're just 19, we were not 21.
Yeah, and you should have looked after her.
Yeah. She wasn't with me because I know if she would have been with me, she would have been safe.
Even her sister, Kim, with whom Kenya texted constantly, hadn't heard a word. But she did get a call from Kenya's boyfriend, who'd been talking to Kenya's worried friends.
And he was like, "Have you seen your sister?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Have you talked to her?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Well, she's missing." I was like, "Shut up. Like, this isn't funny. Tell me the truth. Like, where is she?" He was like, "I'm being serious. You need to call your parents and tell them to call the police and file a missing person report." And then I called my mom.
I started calling my sisters and my family, all the family, but I said, maybe it's a joke. And my sister got very worried. She said, I don't think it was a joke.
When I got my call from my daughter Kim and she said that she had not heard anything from her that day, that's when I went into high alert.
But when Tony called Kenya's friends, they weren't exactly straight with him about their underage bar hopping the night before in those Lodo nightclubs.
It was very, very, very confusing because these girls were not telling me the truth about what they were doing and where they were at because they were covering their asses.
So Tony turned amateur detective and was finally able to confirm that Kenya had spent the evening not with her close friends, but with two other girls she barely knew, and
she had left her purse, her phone, and her ID and all that stuff in the bar.
Her stuff. Kenya never went anywhere without it, especially her cell phone. And she certainly wouldn't just leave it with two people she hardly knew.
Something is really wrong. Something is wrong.
The night after Kenya was last seen here in Lodo, one of the girls she was drinking with showed up at the Lee's house to drop off her belongings. Kenya was happily dancing till about 1 o'clock in the morning, she said, with some guy, and then she disappeared. They looked for her but couldn't find her, she said. And when the bar closed, they took her purse and cell phone and just kind of assumed that Kenya would get home on her own, somehow.
I was looking through her text messages from the day before and these conversations she was having with her friends and letting know, hey, this is where we're gonna hook up at.
The phone showed that Kenya suddenly stopped sending texts right after 11 p.m. But of course, her phone kept receiving texts practically all night.
Her boyfriend started texting her, asking, hey, where you at? You being good? Hey, you're not contacting me.
The next morning, the texts continued from Kenya's friends, all asking, where was she?
And then there was a dead area, and then the next text that came in was about 7 p.m. that night.
But this one jumped off the screen, was just plain weird.
And the message said, hey, this is Travis, the guy in the creepy white van, smiley face. Did you get home okay?
Travis? Who was Travis? Nobody in Kenya's circle of friends and family had ever heard of anybody named Travis.
I kept calling him, I kept leaving these messages.
No answer, no calls back. At this point, the mysterious Travis in the creepy white van was the only possible lead in their daughter's disappearance. They filed a missing persons report, but it was too soon, the police told them, to start an investigation. And so, alone, they panicked.
We're running around like chickens with our heads cut off. And we didn't know what to do first and what to do. So we're just trying to figure out what do we got to do.
And then, one terrifying day later, the mysterious Travis finally returned Tony's calls. And Travis had some rather stunning news about Kenya's whereabouts and just who she might be with.
Coming up, Tony on a mission that would leave his wife paralyzed with fear.
I grabbed a 9mm pistol, I packed it in my waist, and I told her, I'm on my way to meet this guy.
When Dateline continues.